Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Listen and Learn English. I'm Bruno.
And I'm Carol. We're very happy to have you here for another day of English listening practice.
Today, we're going to talk about travel and holidays.
We'll discuss planning a trip, packing your luggage, going through the airport, staying at a hotel, sightseeing, and dealing with a few common travel problems.
This is a very useful topic for intermediate learners because traveling often requires simple but important English expressions.
You may need to ask for directions, check into a hotel, order food, buy a ticket, or explain a problem.
And we have a little surprise for you today.
That's right. We invited a special guest to join our conversation.
His name is Arthur. He has traveled to several different places and has some interesting stories to share.
But Arthur won't be here from the beginning. He's going to join us later in the episode in a very casual way.
So stay with us until the middle of the podcast.
And while you listen, don't worry if you don't understand every word. Focus on the main ideas and notice the expressions we use naturally.
You can listen while you're commuting, exercising, cooking, or relaxing at home.
Let's begin. Bruno, let's start with the most exciting part of traveling, choosing a destination. If you could travel anywhere next month, where would you go?
That's a difficult question. I would probably choose Italy.
Italy?
Yes, I've always wanted to visit Rome, Florence, and Venice. I'd love to see the historical buildings, walk through the old streets, and try authentic Italian food.
That sounds wonderful. Would you travel alone or with someone?
I think I'd travel with a friend. Traveling alone can be a great experience, but sharing a trip with someone can make it more fun.
I agree. Although traveling with another person also requires some patience.
Definitely. You need to agree on where to go, what to eat, how much to spend, and what time to wake up.
Yes, some people like to plan every detail, while others prefer to be spontaneous.
Which one are you?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I like to have a basic plan, but I don't want every minute of the trip to be scheduled.
So you want flexibility.
Exactly. I want to know where I'm staying and how I'll get there. But after that, I like having some free time.
That makes sense. If you plan everything too carefully, you may miss unexpected opportunities.
Right. Maybe you discover a small cafe, meet an interesting person, or find a beautiful street that isn't in your guidebook.
A guidebook is a book or online resource with information about a place, including hotels, restaurants, attractions, and transportation.
Exactly. These days, many people use travel apps instead of traditional guidebooks.
I usually search online before traveling. I look at photos, read reviews, and compare different areas.
Reviews can be helpful, but they can also be confusing. One person says a place is amazing, and another person says it's terrible.
That's true. Sometimes people have completely different expectations.
A hotel may be perfect for someone who wants a quiet room, but not ideal for someone who wants to be close to nightlife.
So it's important to think about what you personally need.
Exactly. Before booking a hotel, I check its location, the price, the transportation options, and whether breakfast is included.
I also check the cancellation policy.
That's important. A cancellation policy explains whether you can cancel your reservation and get your money back, or change the dates.
And I always check the weather before I pack.
Yes, because the weather can completely change your travel experience.
If you're going somewhere cold, you need warm clothes, comfortable shoes, and maybe a waterproof jacket.
If you're going somewhere hot, you'll probably need light clothes, sunscreen, sunglasses, and a hat.
Waterproof means something that does not let water pass through it.
For example, a waterproof jacket can protect you from rain.
Planning also means thinking about your budget.
Yes, a budget is a plan for how much money you can spend.
I try to decide how much I can spend on accommodation, food, transportation, and activities.
That's a good idea. You don't want to spend all your money during the first 2 days of a trip.
That would be a very short holiday.
Exactly. You would spend the rest of the trip eating bread and drinking water.
Another important decision is how long to stay.
Some people prefer a short weekend trip, while others enjoy taking 2 or 3 weeks off.
A short trip can be refreshing, especially if you have a busy job.
But a longer trip gives you more time to relax and explore.
I think the most important thing is to choose a destination that fits your interests.
Absolutely. If you love nature, you might enjoy the countryside, mountains, beaches, or national parks.
If you love history, you may prefer cities with museums, old buildings, and historical sites.
And if you love food, you should choose a destination with a strong culinary tradition.
That sounds like my kind of trip.
Of course it does.
Once you've chosen your destination, it's time to pack.
Carol, are you a light packer or do you take too many things?
I'm improving, but I used to pack far too much.
What changed?
I realized that I usually wear the same comfortable clothes again and again, so now I try to pack only what I really need.
That's a useful lesson. I always think I need more clothes than I actually do.
Most people do. We pack for every possible situation.
What if it rains? What if I go to a fancy restaurant? What if I decide to exercise every morning?
Exactly. And then you arrive with a suitcase that is impossible to close.
That has happened to me many times.
A suitcase is a large bag with a hard or soft outside that people use to carry clothes while traveling.
You may also use a backpack, a carry-on bag, or a suitcase.
A carry-on is a small bag that you take onto the plane with you instead of checking it.
And checked luggage is the larger bag that you give to the airline before your flight.
The airline puts it in the luggage compartment of the plane.
I prefer traveling with only a carry-on whenever possible.
Why?
It saves time at the airport. I don't have to wait at the luggage carousel after the flight.
The luggage carousel is the moving belt where passengers collect their checked bags.
Exactly. Sometimes you wait there for 20 minutes and you start wondering whether your suitcase has disappeared.
That's a terrible feeling.
Especially when every suitcase looks the same.
That's why I put a colorful tag on my luggage.
A luggage tag usually has your name and contact information.
Yes, I also put a small ribbon on the handle so I can recognize it easily.
That's smart. What do you always pack?
Comfortable shoes, basic clothes, a phone charger, toiletries, medicine, travel documents, and a small umbrella if the weather might change.
Toiletries include things like toothpaste, shampoo, soap, a toothbrush, and skincare products.
Right. They're the personal care items you use every day.
I also pack a reusable water bottle.
That's a good habit. It can save money and reduce plastic waste.
Before traveling internationally, you need to check your passport.
Yes, make sure it's valid for the entire trip. Some countries require your passport to be valid for several months after your arrival.
You may also need a visa.
A visa is official permission to enter or stay in a country for a specific period.
And depending on the destination, you may need proof of vaccination, travel insurance, or a return ticket.
Travel insurance can help cover medical costs, lost luggage, canceled flights, or other unexpected problems.
I used to think travel insurance wasn't necessary.
And now?
Now I think it depends on the trip, but I prefer to have it. Unexpected problems can become very expensive.
That's true. It's better to prepare for problems before they happen.
Another thing I do is make digital copies of my passport and important documents.
That's very useful. You can save them securely online or email them to yourself.
But you should still keep the original documents in a safe place.
Absolutely. Don't put your passport in the outside pocket of your backpack.
Why not?
Because it's easier for someone to take it without you noticing.
Good point. I usually keep important documents in a small inside pocket.
And remember to organize your suitcase before leaving home.
I make a small checklist.
What's on your checklist?
Passport, wallet, phone, charger, keys, medication, headphones, and travel tickets.
That's a good list. I also add check the windows and turn off the lights.
Very responsible.
I once arrived at the airport and suddenly thought I had left the front door unlocked.
Did you?
No, but I worried about it for the entire flight.
That can ruin the beginning of a holiday.
It really can. Preparation helps you feel calmer.
And when you feel calm, you can enjoy the journey more.
Let's imagine that we've packed our bags and arrived at the airport.
The airport can feel confusing, especially if you're traveling internationally for the first time.
The first thing you usually do is check in.
You can check in online before arriving, or you can check in at the airport.
At the check-in counter, an employee may ask for your passport and booking information.
They may also ask, "Are you checking any bags?"
If you have a large suitcase, you can say, "Yes, I have one bag to check."
If you only have a small bag, you can say, "No, I'm traveling with carry-on luggage only."
Then you receive your boarding pass.
A boarding pass contains information about your flight, including the gate, seat number, and boarding time.
A gate is the place where you wait before entering the plane.
You may hear an announcement like, "Flight 245 to London is now boarding at gate 18.
Boarding means passengers are entering the plane.
You should always pay attention to announcements, because the gate can sometimes change.
Yes, you may be sitting comfortably near one gate when you suddenly hear, "The gate has changed."
Then everybody starts walking quickly through the airport.
And you hope you're going in the right direction.
Airports are full of useful signs. You may see signs for departures, arrivals, security, baggage claim, and customs.
Departures are flights that are leaving. Arrivals are flights that are coming in.
Security is where passengers and their bags are checked before entering the boarding area.
You may need to take off your jacket, remove liquids from your bag, and put electronics into a separate tray.
It's a good idea to keep your passport and boarding pass easy to reach.
Yes, you don't want to empty your entire backpack while people are waiting behind you.
That can be a little embarrassing.
It can. After security, you may have time to get coffee, buy food, or look around the shops.
But don't forget to check the time.
Exactly. Airports can be large, and walking to the gate may take longer than you expect.
Once you're on the plane, you find your seat and put your carry-on luggage in the overhead compartment.
The overhead compartment is the storage space above your seat.
Then you fasten your seatbelt.
A flight attendant may give safety instructions before takeoff.
During the flight, you might ask for water, coffee, tea, or a small meal.
You can say, "Could I have some water, please?" Or, "Could I have a coffee without sugar?"
If you're sitting next to another passenger, you may need to ask them to move so you can get to your seat.
You can say, "Excuse me, I think that's my seat."
Or, "Excuse me, could I get past you?"
Get past you means move around you or pass by you.
Flights can be exciting, but they can also be uncomfortable.
Especially long flights.
Yes, your legs feel stiff, your sleep schedule changes, and the person in front of you may put their seat all the way back.
That's one of the small challenges of flying.
Another challenge is turbulence.
Turbulence is the movement of the plane caused by changes in the air.
It can feel frightening, but usually it's a normal part of flying.
If you feel nervous, try to breathe slowly, listen to music, or watch a movie.
And remember that the flight crew is trained to deal with these situations.
After landing, you follow the signs to baggage claim.
Then you wait for your suitcase.
And hopefully it appears quickly.
Hopefully. If it doesn't, you need to speak to the airline staff.
You can say, "My luggage hasn't arrived," or "My suitcase is missing."
That's a situation nobody wants to experience.
But knowing the right English phrases can help you communicate clearly.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Am I interrupting?
Arthur, there you are. We were just talking about airports and luggage.
Perfect timing. Come on in.
Thanks. I heard the word missing suitcase, and I immediately remembered one of my worst travel experiences.
That sounds like a story we need to hear.
Yes, but first, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I was listening from the other room, but then I thought, okay, I have to join this conversation.
We introduced you at the beginning, but our listeners haven't heard you yet.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arthur. I enjoy traveling, although some of my trips have been more organized than others.
That sounds like a diplomatic way to say that you've made some mistakes.
Exactly. I've made a few mistakes.
Arthur, tell us about the missing suitcase.
Well, a few years ago, I traveled to Spain with 2 friends. We had a connecting flight, so we had to change planes in another city.
A connecting flight is when you take 2 or more flights to reach your final destination.
Exactly. The first flight was delayed, so we had to hurry to the next gate.
That's stressful.
It was. We ran through the airport, arrived at the gate just before boarding ended, and got on the plane.
So far, everything sounds okay.
Yes, but when we arrived, one of my friends realized that his suitcase hadn't arrived.
Oh no.
We waited at the baggage carousel, but the suitcase never appeared.
Did he have anything important inside?
Unfortunately, yes. His clothes, his shoes, and a small camera.
That's terrible.
The worst part was that he had packed all his clothes in that one suitcase. He only had the clothes he was wearing.
That's why it's a good idea to keep one change of clothes in your carry-on bag.
Exactly. We learned that lesson the hard way.
What did he say to the airline staff?
He said, "My suitcase is missing. I flew in from Madrid and it didn't arrive on the baggage carousel."
That's a very useful sentence.
The employee asked for his baggage claim ticket and flight number. Then she filled out a report.
Did the suitcase eventually arrive?
Yes, thankfully. It arrived 2 days later.
2 days?
Yes, we were already staying at the hotel by then.
At least it arrived before the trip ended.
True, but those 2 days taught us to travel with the essentials in our carry-on bags.
Artur, where did you stay during that trip?
We stayed at a small hotel near the center of the city.
Was it a good hotel?
It was comfortable,
but the room was much smaller than we expected.
Did the online photos look different?
The photos made the room look bright and spacious. In reality, it was quite dark and crowded.
That happens sometimes.
The bed was comfortable, though, and the location was excellent. We could walk to many restaurants and attractions.
Location can make a big difference.
Definitely. I would rather stay in a small room in a convenient location than in a large room far away from everything.
That's an interesting point. What facilities did the hotel have?
It had free Wi-Fi, breakfast, a small gym, and a rooftop terrace.
A rooftop terrace sounds nice.
It was beautiful. We could see the city from there, especially at sunset.
Did you have any problems with the hotel?
One morning, there was no hot water.
Oh, that's not ideal.
No, I called reception and said, "Excuse me, there doesn't seem to be any hot water in our room."
That's a polite way to report a problem.
The receptionist apologized and sent someone to check the system.
Did they fix it?
Yes, after about 30 minutes.
That's not too bad.
No, it was okay. The staff was friendly and they gave us free coffee while we waited.
That was a nice gesture.
It was. Sometimes a small gesture can change your opinion about a situation.
Did you try local food while you were there?
We did. We tried several traditional dishes, including grilled fish, rice, vegetables, and a few desserts.
Did you like everything?
Almost everything. There was one dish that was extremely spicy.
Another spicy food story.
Yes, the waiter told us it was a little spicy, but I think his definition of a little was very different from mine.
That happens often.
I took one bite, smiled politely, and then immediately asked for water.
Water doesn't always help with spicy food.
I know that now. At the time, I thought water was the solution to everything.
What did you do instead?
I ate some bread and yogurt. That helped much more.
So, Arthur, what advice would you give to someone traveling to a new country?
I would say be prepared, but remain flexible. Make copies of your important documents, learn a few basic phrases, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's excellent advice.
Also, try to learn how to say hello, thank you, and excuse me in the local language. People usually appreciate the effort.
Even if your pronunciation isn't perfect.
Especially if it isn't perfect. At least people can see that you're trying.
That's also true when learning English. You don't have to wait until your pronunciation is perfect before speaking.
Exactly. Communication is more important than perfection.
I think that's a perfect message for our listeners.
Arthur, thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure. I hope it was useful.
It was. And we'll let you go before we keep you here for the entire episode.
That's probably a good idea. I have another suitcase to lose. Thanks for having me, everyone. Good luck with the rest of the podcast.
Thanks, Arthur.
See you soon.
See ya. Bye, everyone.
That was a great story. Arthur gave us some very useful travel expressions.
He did. I especially liked his advice about keeping important items in your carry-on bag.
Now let's talk about sightseeing.
Sightseeing means visiting interesting or famous places as a tourist.
When you arrive in a new city, you may want to visit museums, parks, historical buildings, markets, or famous monuments.
I like starting with a walking tour.
A walking tour is a guided or self-guided tour around a city on foot.
It's a good way to learn about the history of a place and discover areas you might not find by yourself.
Do you prefer guided tours or exploring alone?
It depends. If the place has a lot of history, I like having a guide.
A guide can explain important details and answer questions.
But if I'm exploring a neighborhood, I prefer walking around by myself.
I'm similar. I like visiting the main attractions, but I also want to see how local people live.
That's why I enjoy visiting local markets.
Markets can be colorful, noisy, and full of interesting smells.
You can see local products, try traditional food, and sometimes find souvenirs.
A souvenir is something you buy or keep to remember a place.
It could be a postcard, a magnet, a piece of clothing, or something made by local artists.
I prefer small souvenirs that are practical or meaningful.
I usually buy food. Maybe coffee, chocolate, spices, or something I can share with my family.
That's a good idea. Food is easy to carry and often represents the culture of a place.
Another important part of sightseeing is taking photos.
Do you take many photos when traveling?
Too many. I take a photo of almost everything during the first 2 days.
And after that?
After that, I become tired and take fewer photos.
I try to balance photos with enjoying the moment.
That's difficult when a place is beautiful.
It is. But sometimes you need to put your phone away and simply look around.
especially during a sunset.
Exactly. A beautiful view can be more memorable when you experience it directly.
When asking for directions, you can say, "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?"
You can also ask, is it within walking distance?
That means, "Can I walk there?"
Right. And if you're lost, you can say, I'm sorry, I think I'm lost. Could you help me?
That's a very useful phrase.
You may also need to ask about public transportation.
For example, which bus goes to the city center? Or where is the nearest train station?
And remember to listen carefully to the answer. People may use expressions like turn left, turn right, go straight, or it's across from the bank.
Across from means on the opposite side of the street or place.
Exactly. The cafe is across from the hotel.
Or the museum is next to the park.
These location expressions are useful in every city.
Even the best trips can include a few problems.
Yes, a flight can be delayed, a hotel room can have a problem, or you can accidentally take the wrong train.
The important thing is to stay calm and ask for help.
A common problem is a delayed flight.
If your flight is delayed, you can ask, "How long is the delay?"
Or what time will the flight depart?
A flight may also be canceled.
In that case, you can say, my flight was canceled. What are my options?
That phrase is very useful because the airline may offer another flight, a refund, or accommodation.
Another problem is losing something important.
If you lose your wallet, you can say, "I've lost my wallet. Has anyone found it?"
If you lose your phone, you can ask, has anyone seen my phone?
And if you lose your passport, you should contact the local authorities or your embassy.
An embassy is the official office that represents your country in another country.
You may also have problems with transportation.
Perhaps you get on the wrong bus.
Or the bus doesn't stop where you expected.
In that situation, ask another passenger or the driver, does this bus go to the city center?
It's better to ask before you travel too far in the wrong direction.
I once spent almost an hour on the wrong train.
Really?
Yes, I was looking at the scenery and didn't notice that the train was going away from the city.
What did you do?
I got off at the next station, checked a map, and took another train back.
At least you discovered the mistake.
Eventually.
Travel problems can be frustrating, but they can also become good stories later.
That's true. At the time, you may feel stressed, but later you laugh about the experience.
Like Arthur and his missing suitcase.
Exactly. And travel problems teach you to be more prepared next time.
You learn to arrive earlier, check signs carefully, keep documents safe, and ask questions.
And you learn that making a mistake in English is not the end of the world.
That's important. If you're traveling and someone doesn't understand you, try saying the sentence in a simpler way.
Use different words, speak slowly, and remain polite.
For example, instead of saying a long sentence, you can simply say, "I need help with my reservation."
Or, my room has a problem.
Or, "Where can I find the train station?"
Clear, simple English is often the most effective English.
Exactly. You don't need complicated grammar to solve a problem.
You need useful vocabulary, confidence, and the courage to speak.
And if you make a mistake, just try again.
That's how communication works.
So, whether you're planning your first international trip or simply taking a weekend holiday, English can help you feel more independent.
You can book a room, ask for directions, order food, meet people, and enjoy new experiences.
Travel is not only about visiting new places.
It's also about learning, adapting, and becoming more confident. Well, that's all for today's episode.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation about travel and holidays.
Today, we talked about choosing a destination, planning a trip, packing luggage, airports, flights, hotels, sightseeing, and common travel problems.
We also had a special visit from Arthur, who shared his story about a missing suitcase and gave us some useful travel advice.
Remember some of the expressions from today.
I'm traveling with carry-on luggage only.
Could you tell me how to get to the city center?
Is breakfast included?
My luggage hasn't arrived.
What are my options?
These phrases can be very helpful in real-life situations.
And remember, you don't need perfect English to travel. You need to practice, stay calm, and be willing to communicate.
The best way to improve your English is to listen every day. The more you listen, the more natural English will sound.
If you found this episode helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
We post new English practice videos every day, so come back tomorrow for another natural English conversation.
And tell us in the comments, where would you like to travel?
What is the most interesting place you have ever visited?
Try to answer in English, even if your answer is short.
Thank you so much for listening.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.